is difficult, especially in the West, where there are so many ideas of their own identifications and of their own personalities. Now, it is quite again a paradox that we don't want people to dress up indecently or we don't want people to behave indecently. Decency is a very big part of Sahaja Yoga. So one can ask that, Mother, when you say you have to completely dissolve, then why should we have this dignity? Why should we worry about having a dignity? It's quite all right. This question is all right. The answer is like this. Supposing you put a drop of some filth in the ocean, then the ocean can become dirty. If you put some poison, then the whole ocean can become poisonous. In the same way, whatever is not congenial to the ocean, to this divine power, should not be done. Otherwise, you will spoil the whole of it. We have had experience. We have had Sahaja Yogis who were leaders also, and they tried to be quite funny, and the whole collectivity was spoiled. One person who is not a good person can spoil the whole collectivity. The one who is then a leader on top of that is even worse. So one has to understand that when you are becoming a drop of the ocean, this ocean is the pure ocean of love. In that, you should not do something that will create repulsion, frustration, or even sometimes it can create a very grotesque image of the whole ocean. That is why we have to be decent people, decorous people. It is not that in any way we want you to be like a dandy people or anything, but what it means that you must respect your body, respect yourself, and a respectable personality you should have. Too much indulgence to that is not proper. But it should be such that you should respect yourself. It's very important. If you cannot respect yourself, you cannot respect at all the divinity within you. It's like a decoration of the divinity that your whole behavior, your whole attire has to be in such a way that people should know that he is a decent man. Indecent things have come out and have become now a everyday fashion. And they go on coming one after another because of the entrepreneurs. And we are playing into the hands of entrepreneurs. But if you know what dress you have to wear and what is good for you, once for all you have to decide. Now the attention should not be also wasted in that today I'll wear this kind of a sari, tomorrow I'll wear that kind of a dress, third day, because that also spoils the attention. But if it is a decent thing, it's perfectly all right, and that will really make you feel dignified within yourself. In modern times, as the people are, I don't think they have much respect for themselves. You see very highly posted people, highly placed people doing all kinds of nonsensical things like cheating, like having relations with people who are of dishonorable position. All this is happening. If you see in the newspaper, you are shocked how these people at the helm of affairs could be like this. Because they are still not matured enough to know where are they, what is their position, how they have to be. If you are mature enough, then you will understand that, say, I am a housewife, I am such a minister, I am prime minister, how I should be. That all that achievement they have outside remains outside, doesn't go inside. But for a Sahaja Yogi, it should be absorbed within. It has to be absorbed within so that the attention is not wasted too much. The another part which one has to see is the heart. Some people are saying, Mother, if our heart is ruling the head, then we become too much emotional, we get too much attached to people, we see sort of individual friendships and things like that. On this point, one has to know that why do you get attached to one person? It's not your heart. It's not your heart. You get attached to a person because you have some sort of we can say a relationship maybe, or maybe you like the hairdress of that person, maybe you like the dress that person has. Something outside quality is attracting you towards that person. It is not something inner quality that is attractive. For example, if you are attached to your children too much, you will spoil them. They will not come up to your expectations. Anybody you get attached to, you must verify why are you attached to such a person. What is the reason? Now in Sahaja Yoga, people are attached to each other very much, I know that. But it is not for any external reason. Because somebody is rich, because somebody is famous, because somebody is doing some sort of a extraordinary work. No. They are attached to that person because that person is a bundle of vibrations. That it gives you tranquility, it gives you joy, and it gives you a kind of an immense dissolution of your being. So that happens when you are very much there. As I have told you the story of once this potter was kneading the clay, and his name was Gora Kumar. And when Namadeva, who was a tailor but very well known poet, both of them were poets, he went and he saw this potter was doing such a, it was not a very respectable work he was doing. He was busy kneading the clay. He looked at him, and what he says, that I have come here to see the Chaitanya, to see the formless. But what I find, that the formless has got into a form. This only, I always say, is only possible between the two saints of the same level. That the way they appreciate, the way they feel, there are no words for what I want to say, but the way they feel the oneness, the unity, which is a subtle one between each other. Such a feeling, if you have for each other, then know that you are really now dissolved and you are in the ocean of joy. But on the contrary, those who are sitting on the shores cannot feel that way. They judge, they try to find out what's wrong with that person, this is not so. They can never appreciate another person. What they feel is that they have a right to criticize, to find out faults with others, and that they are something special. And the other person also finds out faults with this person. So it's a fault-finding society, I find sometimes, and you get fed up with it. But when you see that another person who is there, the person who is another saint, you feel such rapport, such oneness, such a spontaneous feeling for that person, which is absolutely pure. There's no expectation. There's no mental activity to find out what's wrong with that person. There's no judgment about what the person is like, but just oneness with that person you feel, and you feel that your quality of your love has got a new shine, a new dimension. So it comes to that, what we should appreciate within ourselves is the purity of our love. When you are pure, the purity is there, you do not get attached to anything, but in that detachment you are enjoying. In attachment you cannot enjoy, because in that you are bothered more about the superficial relationship with the other person. Now in a wider way, if you see Sahaja Yoga, you are all very important people. Extremely important. Because in the history of spirituality, there were not so many saints sitting together. Never can you see so many people from so many countries thinking about divinity and morality. It is impossible to get so many people together on any point whatsoever who are feeling the oneness, we can say the most soothing feeling with each other. Whether it is comfortable or not, whether it is very much according to the norms of comfort. People who are saints are absolutely happy with other saints and other saintly people. They rush to people who are saints. Once it happened to me when I was in Kolhapur, that they told me there is a saint who talks about it. So where is he? They said he lives up there and it will take at least 3 hours for you to climb up. He only lives there, he doesn't come out. I said, all right, I would like to go and see him. So I was walking and it started raining. So they said, Mother, you never go to anybody like that. Why are you going to him? I said, no, just I want to go up and see him. Now this fellow, they said, had a control over rain. But it was raining very heavily. And when I climbed up, I saw him sitting down and going on like this with great anger. So I said, let us go and sit in his cave, because this fellow is now not in a normal mood. So I went and sat in the cave there, and there he came. He couldn't walk because his, they say that his legs became absolutely lame because of the vibrations that were too much in him. Whatever it is, he couldn't walk. So they brought him there, he sat down. So the first thing he asked me, why did you not allow me to stop the rain? It was raining so heavy. And when you were coming up, I didn't want you to get drenched. The way now you are all full of water, and I didn't want you to suffer like this, because it's not a good welcome to you. So did you do it just to control my ego? Because I must have developed ego because I can control rain, that's a fact. So I just smiled at him. I said, see, you are my son, isn't it? And you have bought a sari for me. But you are a sannyasi, so I can't take a sari from you, because sannyasi dharma is different. I am a grihastha. I can't take a sari from you. So I deliberately got drenched so that you could give me sari. The whole temper, whole unnatural behavior all dropped out. He became extremely sweet. Yes, he said, how do you know I bought a sari? At least I said, in love you know everything. And then he brought a sari for me, and he did aarti and everything. But you see, all these things show that how the love masters everything so easily. Small things, if you are expert in expressing your love, how it works out. There are so many incidents I can give you like this. But the main thing we have to see within ourselves, do we really love each other? Do we really have affection and compassion for others who are not even Sahaja-yogis? Those who are not Sahaja-yogis are also the blind people. You should have compassion for them. You should feel that these people are so unhappy and they cannot come to Sahaja Yoga and they cannot become Sahaja-yogis, and only in their ego they are satisfied. So you must have real compassion for them. If you have this compassion, you might be told by people that why you are wasting your energy, you are doing this, you are doing that. The compassion is actually unites all these things within ourselves. That's the uniting factor. First is your attention. First, which is very, very important, I think. And the second one is your intellect, or you can say your mind. And the third one is your heart. They all get somehow or other united together once you have this capacity to have compassion. You don't quarrel with anyone. You don't have to think about it. You just feel absolutely at home when you are compassionate, and with this compassion you are having relations with others. Now this compassion is not studied out or worked out or maneuvered. It is just there. It is there. In that compassion, it forgives, it forgets all nonsensical things. The forgiveness is only possible if you have this compassion within you. Now even there are Sahaja-yogis who asked me, Mother, how can we have love and compassion? I mean, this is a question which many have asked me. Now the simple thing is that if you develop your thoughtless awareness in your meditation, in thoughtless awareness, you watch anything in thoughtless awareness, any relationship you see it in thoughtless awareness, then you'll be amazed how the gates of this compassion will open. Thoughtless awareness opens your heart, but it doesn't go to one person or to another person, but it is throwing lights on all the sides of your being. Everybody is benefited. Everybody has a divine feeling for it. Because this compassion is not linear, nor is it aggressive, but it just flows and smooths and soothes everything that is chaotic, that is troublesome, and that is painful. This is what you have now. No, these things were done by saints long time back, but nobody liked them and they crucified them out of jealousy. Because if somebody became a saint, then people felt very jealous of that person. So they killed them or tortured them and troubled them. The situation is not so bad now. Of course, there are some useless people. There are some people who are really monsters. I agree. Forget about them. But on the whole, our attitude should be that these are blind people. Now, looking at somebody who is maybe something wrong with that person, may not be good natured, maybe anything. But in your heart, you should not have any grudge. You should not have any complaints about it. You can talk to that person about it. You can tell him in a way that will be absorbed. But you should not try to make an issue out of it and try to in any way trouble or torture anyone. Can you put off this one? Pankhe ko utar. You have seen already in Sahaja Yoga those people who came and were troublesome and were not of any worth for us just dropped out by themselves. We didn't have to do much about it. They just dropped out and they have gone into some sort of a problematic life. I even now receive letters from them saying that we have this problem, we have that problem, and how to solve this and solve that. But it automatically happens because, after all, there is a big choice going on, and the divine is trying to decide who are capable of receiving the blessings of the divine. This is the only thing you have to achieve. That's why we have come to Sahaja Yoga. Nothing else is important. There are people who are very highly placed. Tomorrow they go into dust. There are people who are regarded as very great, famous people. They go into dust. It's all the time is happening in your presence. Every day you read a newspaper and you find how they are behaving. Like today, somebody told me that in the newspaper there was there that now one bishop is going to discotheque. Can you imagine? He is going to a disco. Now, what people must be thinking, they must be breaking their heads. Now, what to do, this stupid fellow whom we call as the bishop and everything is now going to disco. Whatever he had respect, maybe it is artificial, but it's all lost, finished. Because, you see, as they have no value of themselves. They just live with their ego. I'm such a big man, I'm this, that, I'm a bishop. They walk in a different way, they talk in a different way, and suddenly how they go down. Now, what was the need for this old Johnny to go to the discotheque? I can't understand. So, because of this kind of life that he is leading, thinking no end of himself, he could never see that one day I will go down like that. Another thing which you should say in a very wider way, that he had no feeling why people respected him. He never knew why people had respect for him. Or he was not conscious of it. At least he would have preserved that. He did not. Why should he go to a place about which he has been always denouncing and saying that these are bad places, one should not go there? So, in your case, you have to be conscious that you are Sahaja Yogis. If you become the ocean, doesn't mean that your consciousness has vanished, but it has enlarged. You have got the consciousness of the ocean. You are not the one who has become like a mesmerized person or a person who has no connection with oneself. On the contrary, you are connected with yourself much more than you were before. So when you become the ocean, you don't lose your personality, but you expand your personality. You become a greater person. And this is happening in Sahaja Yoga. I am noticing many people are developing that kind of a personality. And they are expressing it and manifesting it. It gives me great joy to see in my lifetime I could see such people who are doing this kind of thing.